Welcome to another easy math video. Today we're going to be focusing on place value and more specifically on using place value to compare and order different numbers. Now, before we get started, let me just specify that in this video we are going to be looking primarily at whole numbers. Okay, so you can see here we have a place value chart that starts at ones. Okay, that's the lowest place value you can have for a whole number. Then it moves on to tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, billions. And we can continue to go on, but we're going to stop there. And you'll notice that there are no values less than 1. Okay, because we're dealing once again with whole numbers today. If you were interested in looking at place value involving decimal numbers, we do have a video on that, so you can move on to that one and check that out if that's what you were looking for. Now let's keep going. So the system that we use to order numbers is called base 10. Sounds complicated, but it's really not. Since we were all children, we've learned to count from 1 to 10 essentially, and this is really no different. So what base 10 means is that for each place value, the lowest value you can have in a place value is 0, and the largest number you can have in a place value is 9. And if that still doesn't make sense, let me use an example to explain a little better. Let's say that I gave you $5, okay? That would be 5 ones. So I would place a 5 in the ones column here in our place value chart. Now let's say I gave you another dollar. You'd be at $6. If I gave you another, you'd be at 7. And if I gave you another, you'd be at 8. And if I gave you one more, you'd be at 9. Now, like I said, 9 is the highest number you can have in any place value before you need to move on to the next place value, the larger place value. Okay? So let me just say I gave you $1 more. Okay, so if I gave you $1 more, you'd be at $10. And what that means is we'd place a 0 here in the ones column, and we'd have to place a 1 in the tens column. Okay, and the same thing will continue to happen. If I gave you another one, we'd start again with a 1 in the ones column. And if I gave you 9 more ones, okay, that would bring you to 20. And then we'd place another 0 here in the ones column, and we'd end up at 2 in the tens column. Now, if I kept giving you values of $10, okay, if I gave you another 10, you'd be at 30. Okay, and then we keep going if I gave you $10 bills until we ended up at $90. Now, if I gave you another $10 bill after this, okay, that would bring you to $100. So that means we'd have to move to the next place value, okay, because you can only have single digits in each place value. I hope that makes sense. So if you're at 90, okay, and I either give you 10 more ones or another $10 bill, we reset the tens place value and we move on to the hundreds place value. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, let's look at how we use the place value chart with some larger numbers. So here in the top left corner of your screen, you can see that I have a 6-digit number, and that number's value is 235,025. Okay. Now, one thing that I should emphasize is that every 3 digits or every 3 place values, we should be using a comma. And why do we do that? That is to help us be able to read the number easier. The larger a number becomes, the more difficult it kind of becomes to read the number. So here we have 5 ones, okay, we have 2 tens, okay, we have no hundreds, but going from hundreds to thousands, in between those, we should be placing a comma, and that makes it a lot easier for us to read the number. So we go from ones to hundreds. Then between thousands and hundreds, we should put a comma. Okay. Then we go from thousands to hundred thousands. And in between millions and hundred thousands, if we get that large of a number, we should be placing a comma. And then we go from millions to hundred millions. And if we get that high, we should be placing a comma between billions and hundred millions. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Now, let's just place this large number into our place value chart. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we have 5 ones, as I said, 2 tens. We have no hundreds, so we're going to place a 0 there. Okay, we have 5 thousands, we have 3 10,000s, and we have 2 100,000s. Okay, so there's our number that we see here in the top left corner in the place value chart. Now, if you want to, if it helps you out, you see that we don't have any millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, or billions. But if it helps you, you can go ahead and put zeros in those place values. Okay? Or you can just leave them blank. Whatever works best for you. Okay? So if you have, if the largest place value you have in a number, well, in this particular case, the largest place value we have is 100,000s. You can put an infinite amount of zeros in front of that number. It's still going to be the same number. Okay, so for example, I could put a bunch of zeros in front of this number, and this number still remains 235,025. Okay, just wanted to point that out. All right. Now, let's get into comparing numbers, okay? So, here you see we have 2 6-digit numbers, which we're going to use our place value chart to compare. Okay, we have 235,995 versus 239,295. Okay, so here are our steps for comparing numbers by place value. Step 1, we got to start by comparing the highest place value available. Okay, in this case, with both of these numbers, the highest place value we have is the 100,000s column. Okay, because they're both 6-digit numbers. Step 2, if one of the numbers has a larger number in this place value, it's automatically the greater number. So I start here at 100,000s. They both have a 2 here. So I haven't yet figured out which one is the greater number. And if that's the case, if they have the same value, step 3 tells us that we have to work our way to the next place value to the right, the next largest place value. So we're going down now to the 10,000s place value. And we repeat the same steps 1 through 3 that I just took you through. Well, let's compare 10,000s. They both have a 3 in the 10,000s column. So now we got to go to the next place value, which is the thousands. And let's compare those. And you'll see here that this number here on the bottom has a 9, and this one here on the top has a 5, which automatically means that this number here is in fact our greater number. Okay? 239,295 is greater than 235,995. Okay. Now, what if I was to place a 1 here in this place value? Okay. That would automatically mean that this number here on the bottom would be greater. It'd be a lot easier to see, okay? Because we don't have a millions place value in this top number here, okay? So if I were to add that number, and I'll do that here, remember we place commas every 3 place values just to help us be able to read the number. Okay, and if it helps you, once again, go ahead and put a 0 in. Okay, because automatically we can see here that that the bottom number is in fact greater. Okay, so here are steps. If you need to review them, go ahead. All right, so we start by comparing the highest number or the highest place value available. Okay, and if they are the same, we keep working our way down the place value chart until we find which number has the higher value. And that will tell us which is the greater number. Okay, guys, hope that makes sense. Give it a shot. If you like our videos, please subscribe, give us a like, leave some feedback. Okay, give it a shot.